Hey there, Latin 2. Let's take a look at chapter 51, Marcus Comes of Age. So there's some glossary stuff on the very first page, 265. So there's an official ceremony that you go through when you turn 16. It's usually all done at the same time, so it doesn't really matter what your manufacture date is, or your release date, if you will, so much as the time where that ceremony is around. So it's kind of everybody waits. It's like graduation. And it's the Officium Togae Virilis. It's the manly toga ceremony. And usually it's in March because that's fertility, that's spring, that's the time where men become men. You get the idea. It's called the Liberalia. This is the festival of Bacchus, the god of wine, because gods of wine lead to madness, leads to sex, leads to children. And so a boy would dedicate, consecrare, there you go, to consecrate, all of his stuff that he had as a kid. So his bula, remember the bula? There's a picture of it right there on 265. It's that little pendant that has like the lock of your first baby hair in it. You consecrate that as well as your toga praetexta, which is the purple thin-ridged or thin-striped toga. And then you fold those up and you put them in front of the shrine for your household gods, and that's called the lararium. Okay, the arium is the place where you keep things, so the lararium, the place for the lares. And usually that's going to be in the atrium of your house because almost everything is. So after that, you take on the toga pura or the toga virilis, and that's the same idea, but essentially it's a plain white toga, because the idea is you literally have to earn your stripe back. Once you become a senator, you get a thick stripe, so it's about like, when you were a kid, it's like, hey, he's of the upper class, you know, you got to give him the right deference, but also we're training him to be one of the leaders, and then he puts that away, and it's like, okay, now it's time to earn your spot. And then you keep working toward it. So you've got the white toga. So you are a new, you're a man and you are ready to take on the duties and then earn your stripe. Now you end up getting taken down to the forum, which they call that deducere in forum. They lead you down into the forum. And there is a building, a tabularium, it's a building of all the public records. Which really makes me sad when they burnt Rome, because you had all that stuff. And they enter into the records in the tabulae, in the tablets. They enter your name as a man of that family from now on. Okay, and then that's generations and generations back. To the point where Brutus, the guy who stabbed Caesar, knew that 500 years prior, about 500 years prior, his relative, Brutus, had been one of the first consuls, and he could trace his lineage. I mean, it was 500 years of history kept in all of that. And then, of course, the Gauls sacked Rome because they didn't pay them. So that gets us to the glossary on page, let's see if we've got a little extra vocab. We don't. Okay. That gets us to the glossary on page 267. So what I'm going to do, instead of reading that to you and try to force it through and do a longer video, we'll split this one up into two. So what I want you to do right now is read page 265 all the way through, then read pages 271 to 273. All right, I'm gonna hit the button.